Welcome back to the show.
There's no telling where we'll go.
So come and share a laugh on the Imp and Skizz podcast.
Hey.
You know,
You harmonized hey.
we did.
All right.
Still in singing mode. That's not the first time we've done an intro where we came in singing. You remember?
It's not. We've done it before.
We have. I mean, weird. We've had some interesting intros before. In fact, I got a few queued up for it. Check it out.
Bum 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 bum.
Ice, ice, baby.
Under pressure.
Oh.
What are you singing?
Vanilla Ice. Ice, baby.
It's Queen, dude.
All right,
Under
he sampled Under Pressure, did he?
Yeah, he tried to pretend he didn't. He said it was there was like a.
All right, stop.
Okay,
Collaborate and listen.
Ice is back with a brand new. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend I know the words. I'm not going to sit here and compare myself to a pound of bacon. Why?
All right, Skizz. So as our hats imply, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
To everyone. And this was the first full year that we've done the Imp and Skizz podcast from week 1 to week 52. Is that how many weeks are in a year?
Yep.
52? Yeah. So 52 podcasts in 2023. This is the 52nd one, I believe.
It's nuts.
And I thought it would be a good time to reflect a little bit, because that's kind of like a New Year's thing to do.
Kind of look back on it and kind of also take into account on, I mean, personally, how grateful I am for this chapter of my life. And let's talk about it, the pride that I feel, which I'm sure you feel.
Oh, yeah.
And we've just had such a good time. And we do this, we film, we edit, we release, we move on. But when you look back over it, there's a lot of gems. There's a lot of things that just sort of kind of get swept under the rug and that I kind of completely forget about. So that's sort of what we're doing.
Right. And with so much that we've done over the past year, I realized that we probably couldn't remember all those gems of moments. So I reached out to pretty much every platform I could, Twitter, X, whatever, community posts on our Imp and Skizz YouTube channel, and then also in our Discord, and asked everyone, hey, just tell me what your favorite moments of the Imp and Skizz podcast that happened in 2023 were. And I got a lot back. I got a lot of submissions back. And so I went through all of them and kind of plucked them out of all the different episodes. And I thought, hey, let's just put together a podcast of just all those clips so that we can just relive those gems of moments throughout the year.
I like it a lot. That's going to be fun.
Yeah. So let's dive in. Check it out. Here's what happened in 2023. It was funny. So we finally all got settled into the house, and we realized we should probably stock this place with food. Yeah. Right. There's a whole bunch of us staying in this house for an entire weekend. We don't want to just be like eating out. I don't even know if DoorDash was a thing back then, but we realized that we needed to like go on a shopping trip.
Oh,
right?
yes.
So here we are, a whole bunch of different people from different parts of the world coming together to go shopping in a grocery store in Anaheim, California. And you got to tell the story. You got to tell the story, because we decided we wanted burgers. Right?
We have burgers, and we're gonna have burgers. We're gonna have all sorts of stuff. And I don't know if I'm telling the same story you're thinking of, but I remember like Iskal had said to me, he's like, what do you want me to grab? And I said, why don't you go grab some chips? And he's like, what, you want chips? I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay. So he goes, and I remember thinking that's kind of nice, because most people would be like, well, what kind of chips? And I would be like, just whatever you want, man, or just a variety or whatever. So he goes, he comes back, and he's got a couple frozen bags of fries, and I'm all, what's that for? He's all, you said to get these. I'm all, did I? Because I'm thinking, I guess we're doing burgers.
Yeah, burgers and French fries. Yeah, it's like typical, but you didn't say French fries.
Right,
you said chips.
Yeah, and I said, well, where are the chips? He's all, they're right here. And I'm all, those are fries. He's like, no, these are chips. And I'm all, no, these are fries. Like, I'm just like, go back and forth.
You got an argument over what they're called.
I'm like, I don't, or maybe you might call them something different, but you're wrong. These are fries. I was like, let me show you what chips are. And I show him the chip aisle. He's like, those are crisps. I'm like, oh, okay, we're done here. You know, and I remember I'd say one of the most memorable moments was so you guys had that panel coming up. This is a cool story. This is a cool dynamic right here. You guys had that panel coming up, and I had tweeted out that I was considering finding a way to live stream it with my phone because so many people were. It's not like it's live.
Yeah, they weren't streaming the panels back then at all. Like if you were they would show it on their YouTube channel like a month later.
Yeah.
Like on the Minecraft YouTube channel or something, they would eventually post it because they were recording it, but they weren't streaming it.
Yeah, they had professional cameras and everything, but like you said, they wanted to polish.
And there was a bunch of hermits that couldn't make it. You know, they couldn't fly all the way to the US to make the convention, or they're just, you know, like Azuma doesn't like go out in public, you know.
Yeah.
So you were thinking of a way like, how can I get this content out to people like right now? And you came up with like a really crazy way. It was like some live streaming app that like most people had never heard of at the time, right?
That's right. I installed it that day. It was called Periscope, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And I had literally no experience with it. Now this is a good lesson right here. So I talked about, guys, I tweeted out, I think I might try to stream the Hermitcraft panel. And let's keep in mind, you guys had a huge showing. Like the amount of people that came to that area to watch the panel was big. It was a lot of people. And so I started messing around with this app. I don't know what to think. And my brain's like, dude, what are you doing? You're going to have all these people tune in to get a crappy experience because I don't know if I can rely on the Wi-Fi in this place. I don't know what kind of bandwidth this is going to be asking for. I don't know this app very well. So I'm messing with the app for a little bit, and I start to this like doubt washes over me to where it's like, okay, here's the deal. Why don't you just pull out of this? This is going to be a mess. You know what I mean? This is going to be a mess. It's going to be a bad experience. You're going to look like an idiot. You're going to get all these people's hopes up and then you're going to have to cut it off after a couple minutes because it's going to hitch so much. It's going to die. It's not going to work. And then I tweeted out, I'm like, guys, I'm sorry. It's not going to work. And this is back when I had like 400 Twitter followers. You know what I mean? Like it's that long ago. And I'm like, sorry guys, it's not going to work, you know? And so I'm like, I'm really sorry. And then I started reading the comments. So like, oh man, I was really hoping to see it and blah, blah, blah. And there was like a lot of comments on, they really wanted to see it. I'm like, oh, now I feel terrible. And then this voice kicks in and my brain's like, okay, are you ready? You ready to pull your pants up? Your big boy pants up? Doesn't matter how comfortable you are. You know what I mean? Like giving into the discomfort, that's not your gig. What are you doing? And all of a sudden I'm like, I don't care how dumb I look. I don't care how dumb I look. I'm going to do this. So I started messing around more and more with their Wi-Fi, really learning what kind of bandwidth we were going to be dealing with here, running a quick test and people giving me some feedback that it was not bad. It wasn't bad. I'm like, okay, this might be good. Okay. And I was like, okay, sorry for that scare. We're definitely doing this. And so it was about time. Plus they got to see the behind the scenes stuff. And I start going, boom, I'm recording. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go live in 5 minutes. Gave them all the information. Boom, I'm recording now. And I get to do it's my creative vision. I get to move, I get to zoom, I get to do my thing how I see fit. And I'm like, okay, let's see if anybody jumps on. Hey, 5 people are on. That's cool. 10 people are on there. All right, good. You know what? I'll do it for 10, 15 people. I'll do it for the 30 people. That's fine. All right, 30 people. There's 70 people. We're at 800 people. Like it was like this. And it was like, I talk about this on my video. It was like, it felt my phone getting heavy. Like it was
people were in your phone,
dude. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And so now in the heart, I think it had like the way the hearts go and people are just loving it. And they're like, you're a legend, Skizz, and all this stuff. And as you can imagine, the Twitter following just like, went big in that moment or whatever it was. But I would say as much as I enjoyed that, I'd say my happiest moment, I hope I'm remembering this correctly, was Ren Diggity Dog this was actually my introduction to Ren. Ren Diggity Dog was streaming at the time. And I think he had mentioned that he was like, I wish I could be there with my family, my hermit family. And somebody had said, hey, listen, Skizz is live streaming it now. And he's like, what? And so he gets in the stream. He just pivots. No more streaming, whatever I was streaming. We're just going to feed in Skizz's feed. Yeah. And so my thing, like my feed went over into Ren. So he just sat there just enjoying the whole thing. And I remember watching that back later and seeing like how appreciative he was, how appreciative his base was, and feeling just the love from everybody being like grateful. And I remember being like, I will hold my arms up. My arms will fall off my body before I put this phone down. Yeah. Like my phone will catch fire. Do what you need to do. I don't care. This is working. And I don't even know how, but it was perfect. it was perfect. There was no hitching. There was no packet drops. There was nothing. There was
crazy.
nothing. It was just perfect.
Everything just came together.
Yes.
The Ren restreaming it though, that's super cool.
That was so
it was like a
neat.
reaction to a reaction type thing.
Yeah, it kind of was. I have several people in my life, several people who, while they're opening up to me, whatever, have said, you're the only person I can talk to about this. And that's, boy, that level of trust is huge. Naturally, I would never say their names, but for that very reason, they know, and I never have. Like, there's like, they don't know each other exists. You know what I mean? All of those people don't know the other people exist. I would never, ever, there's just been people. And they're like, I literally can't talk to anybody else about this stuff. And I appreciate that, right? So you would think that my disposition would move into a space to where I'd be like, well, you know what? I'm doing something good, so I should rely on others. It just got worse. It was like the more people were relying on me was the more I felt like I can't do the same. I just can't ask for help. I don't know what that is, dude. And I decided one day, this is years ago, like before you and I even came back into each other's life. Things had gotten real bad. I decided I've got a friend of mine that I trust deeply, and I guess I'm gonna do it. This has to happen. I'm gonna do it. But I wasn't man enough to just like sit down with them and do it. So I had to type it up. And this is back when like
you did it on a typewriter?
No.
Bro. No.
And then I make a mistake, pull out the whiteout.
The whiteout. Oh man.
A lot of people, I think, had the impression that we had some genuine contention with one another because of the whole glue stick thing. And it was like, recording's over. It's fine. It's a cartoon horse. You know what I mean? It's a cartoon horse, but they don't see what we see, to the point to where, like I said, I watched this, with my wife, and when you killed glue stick, she was straight up. She's like, I do not like him right now. Like, it was real. She's like, I don't like him. And I was like, hey, babe, it's a cartoon horse. She's like, it doesn't matter. That's messed up. I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. It's a cartoon horse. It's a cartoon horse. It's fine.
Yeah. And for me, it was a couple things. One, I had a bad day and I took out my frustration on your fake pet. And two, like,
you had to throw fake in there.
Well, yeah. and two, like, nobody likes being a villain. You know what I mean? And I knew that was how that was going to be perceived. Like, I killed your pet. And so I was like, okay, this isn't going to feel good. And maybe I went over the top. Maybe you went over the top with the reaction. And it's not going to feel good for anyone, really. They're going to be, upset with the whole thing. How can we? So then I was like, okay, can we now address this in a way that we're not going to just continue to make more people upset about the whole thing? And so we were coming up with ideas for the editing process for Puka, and just like, okay, let's visually show Impulse losing his cool. And so he did it. He nailed it. He had an animation where every little thing that happened to me that day that like prodded me a little bit, he like bring up the animation to kind of like show me getting more and more like upset, to the point to where I snapped. And so now it takes out that like, oh, he's just a bad guy doing bad things, to like, oh, I see why he was pushed over the top or whatever, and he did snap, and it happens. Like, that's how real life happens with me too sometimes. I bottle and bottle and bottle, and then next thing you know, I didn't let the little pressure out, and I explode, and that me killing glue stick might have been an exploding moment.
It was you knocking the cup of water out of my hands back in the day.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, but again, as soon as it happened, I was like, as soon as it happened, the moment it happened, I thought it would be okay. But then when you reacted, I knew it wasn't okay, and I was like, well, I don't know what to do now.
That's what I mean so that's what I mean when I say I was displeased with my own reaction, because it was an overreaction, and being able to take moments like that and change them on the fly is my thing. That's my number one strength, and I wasn't delivering. And so now you were like, he's not doing it. What are we supposed to do? Like, that's, you know what I mean? So this is interesting. This podcast took a turn right here. They get to see a little bit behind it. Everybody has to understand that when we're streaming, and especially when we're streaming and recording, 99% of what you're seeing is just genuine. But what 99% isn't, it's not 100. So there's going to be those times it's like, okay, Now we have to make cognitive, creative decisions to mitigate whatever is in front of us here. Sometimes you have to do it and you got to do it on the fly. You have seconds.
Yeah.
You have seconds. And sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it is the nature of improv. I tend to be more of a rule follower, I think. So coming up with some times where I didn't follow the rules. I mean, some rules are kind of like unwritten, you know, like do your homework is kind of a written rule, right? But like one thing I can think of was when I was a kid, I went to a family reunion in Iowa, and you know, it was my mom's side of the family, and there was like one of my cousins was just kind of being a jerk to me, you know, just kind of, I don't know, bullying is the right word, but definitely not being cool. To the point to where, and you know me, I'm pretty like able to be chill and take it until it boils over, right? And it got to that point. Like he just pressed enough of my buttons that I was like, you know what, forget this. And for some reason, he had taken his shoes off, and you know, maybe on the playground he was afraid to get sand in his shoes or something. I don't know why his shoes were off, and because we're in a big park, and I decided, you know what, I'll get him back for being mean to me. I took his shoes and I threw them in the toilet.
Oh,
like the public restroom toilet at the park, you know? Well, let's just say that caused a little bit of drama at that family. I mean, I was probably, I don't know, like 7, 8 years old, maybe. I don't remember. But I guess there should be a rule written. You shall not throw your cousin's shoes in the toilet. You know, I didn't read any of those rules.
You shall not have to be told.
Nobody told me that when we showed up that day. But no, it was one of those things. I think it's kind of like, as you're talking, like, oh, some things are like meant to be broken. It was one of those things where it's like, I think it just got to the point to where I felt like I had to stand up for myself instead of just taking it, you know?
Yeah.
And I had to get back in some way. But I do feel terrible now, looking back, just thinking about like how my family then had to deal with their family and being upset with, you know, each other and what my actions I took. Because like it would have been hearsay on what they had done to me, but shoes in a toilet's evidence. You know? So.
Yeah. Tango and Impulse, how'd you two meet?
Ooh, you want to take this, or I can start?
Sure.
Yeah.
How did we meet? Well, I'm trying to think of the year, 2013.
Oh, it was right after we got started. It wasn't long. So yeah, probably 2013.
Yeah, I think you and I both started at the end of 2012-ish.
Yeah.
You were a couple months before me. We didn't know each other at the time. And then it was about 2013 where, you know, it was a smaller space then.
Yeah.
I felt like, you know, it was, you know, you kind of...
Especially in the tech side of Minecraft. It was pretty small.
Yeah, there wasn't that much going on, you know. And, you know, we were both doing Let's Plays. And it was, you know, we just kind of realized, oh, wow, I like what this guy's doing. I'm going to start watching his videos. And I think it worked both ways, you know? So I
might have come across your Iron Farm video, because I remember back then,
oh, maybe
I was working on a video to, because we didn't know how the game worked back then, really. I was working on a video and I wanted to see if an Iron Farm would work if it was running in the spawn chunks, even after you like logged off on a server or whatever. Because I knew that like spawn chunks stayed loaded, but I didn't know if Iron Farms would work. And so I started researching Iron Farms and I came across yours. And then from there, I was like, oh, he makes a Let's Play. Click on that.
Yep.
And I started watching a Let's Play and you started talking about kind of your age and having a family and stuff. I'm like, I think we're about the same age.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, and we're about the same sub count. And everybody always says to make it on YouTube, you should collab with people around the same. So I'm going to reach out.
Yeah.
I think I emailed you or something. And then we realized like not long after that we lived in the same state. Not only that, like
it was
pretty
this
close.
Weird, like the world becoming like gigantic world internet. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
Boom. It just kept zoning in and it became like, wow, we live 3 miles away from each other.
Same age.
Yeah.
Same style of play in Minecraft.
So much in
and we
common,
live just miles apart. So we're like, maybe we should hang out.
Yeah.
You're about to get your mind blown.
So here's what happened, dude. So we're at the depot and I'm picking up stuff, you're picking up stuff, and I can't see the trash cans the way you can see. We're playing a game called Void Train, if for anybody's listening. And all of a sudden, Tango starts going, sure, burger, nerd,
He's got it. Okay, he's got to finish telling this story, but this is so good.
I already know. So he's going, and I'm like listening. I'm all, I'm really excited that my streaming partner is currently having a stroke right now. And you're all, you come read this. So I come and it's like above this door and it says Kirschker Burger and I was all danger radioactivity. And you're all, yeah.
You jerk, you 100% had me. I had no idea. I was like,
I know. I'm all, dude, your game is set to German, dude.
well, and I believed it because at the beginning screen, there was a little bit of a language selector. And I'm sitting here going, I didn't press that button. How am I in German mode or something?
Meanwhile, the rest of the game are played and your screen says, you know, crate or tools or what, like everything's English. It was like, I was going to like.
I'm so dumb. I never figured it out. In the background, like, why is everything else in English though?
Dude, my chat was just like
How did no
blowing
one
up.
tell me? They probably did.
They probably did, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna say somebody
butt.
must have told you in your chat that he's trolling you and you just missed it.
That
Which
is
just
so,
makes it that
you
much
sold
better.
it well.
Yeah, I was watching, dude, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Mine
Tango has
sinker. I
no
bought
clue.
that. I am so gullible.
So, peel back the curtain a little bit for those of you watching on YouTube. Not that we use the center cam too often, the one shot that shows both Skizz and I in the same frame at the same time. You know, we usually open the show and close the show with that camera. During this podcast, that camera's battery died, even though it's plugged into an outlet. That camera's just very, very stubborn.
Not the first time it's happened.
So the funny thing was, like, when it died, because we've got it plugged into a television so we could monitor it, all of a sudden the source died and the TV went to like Lucky Dog. What is on TV right now? So anyway, there's a TV that's literally playing a TV show while we're recording this podcast, and it's been super distracting. Like in the corner of my eye, I just see this show. What the heck is Lucky Dog? I'm so glad.
Look at those Lucky Dogs.
If
How
my
cute
dog
they are.
Prim was in the room right now, she would be going nuts because there's a bunch of dogs on TV.
They're so cute. I can't stand it.
Anyway, so that happened.
Did you see that husky? He looked a little bit like Kevin Bubbles Malone Refrigerator Jimmy Matty Dugan. Did you see him? He looked a little bit like him.
So yeah, weird stuff happens during these podcasts sometimes, but that does mean that now this closing shot is going to be either my face or yours. So
it's going to be, come here. I'm
Skizz
too lazy. You come over here.
I'm going to.
Come on. He's going to scoot over here. Come here, buddy. Look into that camera. Hey, buddy. Come here.
There it is. All right. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Been another fun one.
See you guys. Get off me.
Whoa. I don't care to admit this too much, but I actually, you know me, I'm like really cognizant of how much time I spend on things. Like I try to like really be efficient with my time, but I actually have one thing that I've like wasted a lot of time on, and I don't like to talk about it or admit it too much, but I've spent countless hours trying to figure out what exactly is going on in the body shop. Yeah. Sam Smith and Kim Petras, like, they've ruined my life.
What are you talking about?
I really, really need to know what the heck is going on in the body shop.
What are you talking about?
Just, like, they won't say it. All right, here it is. Here it is. Mommy don't know daddy's getting hot at the body shop doing something unholy. He sat back while she's dropping it. She be popping it. Yeah, she put it down slowly.
I think you're saying really like explicit stuff right now. Like I do. I think I might have to cut this out. I don't know. I think because I'm with you. I don't understand it, but I think like you read it as in I don't understand these lyrics, and I think that to the people that do understand it, they're like, he doesn't know what he's saying right now. That's what I'm.
They're getting it on in the body shop.
They're
getting it on in the body shop.
Yeah, but like I don't know that I don't think I. What song is this?
It's Unholy.
And who's it by?
Sam Smith and Kim Petras. That was the joke.
I know. I understand it, but I don't get it.
Obviously, they're doing naughty stuff in the body shop, Skizz.
Okay, so you did know the whole time what they were doing. Okay, very good.
And I think it's fine.
Of course it is. Okay. Very well, here's the deal, though. But quite okay, that's fine. I'm with you. Okay, we're good. But I was like, but I don't know what kind of picture was just painted other than just two people getting together and more of like a, whoa, that got really, really direct, but not direct unless you understand.
Dropping it and popping it.
You stop saying it.
That's not PG enough for you.
Yeah, there's quite a few instances where, like, there's an incident back in MCC with like the Grian's gong.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
I didn't intentionally say it at any time.
You can say it. You can say it on the show.
I said dong, and and the problem is now there's like a neural pathway now where I can't unsay it. And then when he was trying to get me to say it, then I was legitimately trying to say, don't put those words in my mouth. And then it got like the words got caught in me like, no, Scar, no. And it like came out in the worst possible way. So it was like a combination of me saying it like ironically and also realizing it at the same time and trying to like catch it. And
what did you say? Don't put that dong in my mouth? I'm actually guessing, but is that what you said?
I something along those lines. Yes.
That's great.
And yeah, and it's just sometimes I say I will speak before I think.
Oh yeah.
Like I did say that the goat in the back banged me, but it did hit me. Like it kept knocking me off the pillar. Like I was so angry. And to me, I was just like, oh, it just like banged me off. Like if you're just gonna bang on a door or whatever. Like, and then people are like,
when you're able to recognize that you're out of balance, be open-minded on what dials need to be turned.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to bet that more often than not, you're probably a little bit too inwardly focused. You might be. You know what though, dude? You might be a little too outwardly focused too. There's a such thing there too. You may
that's
just like what you were just talking about, right? Yeah. You might have just gotten so used to only giving that you forgot that nobody's giving back to you, or you're not giving back to you even a little bit. Like these are all dials that need to be turned. But the bottom line is, if you're lacking balance, if you're lacking happiness, and you want it, and also don't lie to yourself too. There are scenarios that they're like, oh, I'm totally happy. Are you? You know what I mean? Like they're like, really think about this. Are you genuinely grateful for the things you have? Not aware of the things you have. Are you grateful for the things you have? You know what I mean? Are you actually happy, or are you just not outwardly unhappy? Because those are very different things, right? Yeah. So, and for the record, I'm unhappy a lot. I really am. It's not like I'm just always this bouncy, gleeful. Yay. I think I have a pretty good disposition on the things that I am grateful for, but it doesn't mean I'm not human. It doesn't mean I don't slip every once in a while. Yeah. And when those times happen, I ask myself why. And more often than not, doing something for somebody else always puts me right back where I want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. For now.
That's good advice. You know, if you have it to give. If you don't, I would say try to at least once a day just think of one thing you're grateful for.
Yeah.
I know that's so cliche, but
it's not a bad idea.
But
man.
like, just like, I was in a recording session this morning, and I was like, man, my day is so busy. I gotta record this clip with you, and then I got another clip I gotta record, and then I gotta eat lunch. I barely have time for lunch, and then I got a Hermitcraft meeting, and then Skizz is coming over. We're gonna record the podcast. Man, my day is so full. I'm so stressed. And then I was like, actually, this is my day.
You just listed nothing but awesome stuff.
Yeah. So then after all that spun in my head, I was like, actually, that's the coolest day ever. Yeah. I get to make content all day long.
Yeah.
And be with my friends and just have a good time. Like that's my life, you know? And so I was like, okay, there's that moment of gratefulness that I just shifted my perspective, and it's not easy.
No,
it's not easy because like we're so much more drawn to negative than positive. We've talked about this too. Like it's just the way our brains work, and some people even more so than others are just drawn to negativity. That's why the media is always shoveling negativity. Mm-hmm. And so like it took that concentrated effort for me to be like, dude, stop. Why are you spiraling about this? Think about really what you're saying, and then put it in a different light. Just shine a different light on it. And I was like, dang, I get to create content all day with my friends, my best friend, you know, even that's not stressful. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm going to do this again tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know,
it's so funny. You went through that list. I'm like, everything
I know.
You're saying is
that's
awesome.
why I did it. That's why I did it.
No,
Because
I know.
Your lens was different as I'm saying it than what I was like, the lens I was using at that point of complaining in my own head.
in all honesty, what the affirmation should have been was that your dedication for post-production, like your blood, sweat and tears into your post-production is second to none. And that goes, I mean, the things you do, you won this season, and what you did at the end of it, I was just like, are you kidding me? Yeah. Like, you kidding me? And you go back to season 1, me and Ren, you and Ren decided to adopt me, if you will, into your family. So you came, you helped me move out of my house. So we were walking away, and all I did was say this. I said, bye, house. That's all I said. He has an artist go and create a full-blown illustrated book.
I forgot about that.
It was unbelievable. Like a whole thing where you like, house. I don't even know how you did. You laughed. You said, "Aw," like you made this sound. You said, it's like you're doing spoken word. Bye, house. And you just did this thing. And then you had an illustrator illustrate every page of that book of what Bye House, the book, would have been.
Yeah. Like, I think as we were walking towards Dogwarts, I like improv'd like a silly little story basically. And then,
but then you made it.
It didn't rhyme at the end though, if I remember correctly. I think I just fluffed the last.
But it was it did. But it reminded me of like, okay, that right there, that was, I mean, I liked it. I laughed at it. I enjoyed that moment. But what it ended up doing for me in regards to my disposition of you was I realized so many times in my life, all of us, have I had ideas in my brain and it blows up on my brain. This is what would be great. And you know what they're ideas that I have, they spark up, the synapses connect, and then they disconnect and I move on with my life. Martin doesn't do that. He has a good idea and his brain goes, that's a good idea. Let's make it a reality. And you do it a lot.
Yeah. You know what it is because I know it sounds really daft, but I'm one of the people that doesn't have a mind's eye. So if I have an idea, I think Green's the same way. We're talking about this. If you close our eyes and say, imagine an apple, I don't see anything. It's just black. It's almost like I have this just out of field of view, like list, and I can reel off the bullet points. And sometimes just for my own kind of like gratification or even just almost like a need, if you will, I have to see these things like come to fruition because otherwise they will just sit there and just like, you know, sort of tick away at me and stuff like that. But that's where I then bring in like artists and the like to kind of bring something to a final product. Because sometimes those ideas just sit and I can't let them go. I've got to get them in. It makes the turnarounds really difficult though. Because I mean, we're posting those live series every week.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, what if we made the boxcar and you raced it? Like you actually raced it in a boxcar race. That would be, you know, I'm telling you right now, here's what's happening to all the people listening. First of all, they're laughing at how ridiculous this is. There's also several of them that are quite literally thinking, I was actually thinking about a boxcar race. Because that's a real production. That's a huge thing to make the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Imagine, really go with me on this journey. Imagine what it would be for you and I getting the lumber, getting the equipment, actually fabricating a boxcar, not just based on what we think it's going to be. The amount of research we would do would be real. Doing some test runs, you know, down the thing or whatever. And then it ends with you doing the race, wearing the helmet.
I'm the one that has to get in the thing
I'm
that's
not
going to
getting
crash.
in there. This is the toughest
Crash and
idea
explode
ever.
into a million parts. And
There's nothing. First of all, if it exploded,
YouTuber dies in homemade boxcar is the title. Video went viral. Unfortunately, it's the only video we ever made because I'm dead.
I get all the money.
Great.
So, but you have to understand that. First of all, it would be the first boxcar in the history of boxcar to explode.
Actually, we should rig it to explode.
We should, dude. We totally should.
We'll cut camera view to like a dummy that looks like me, but
like
it's
a Super Dave thing, dude.
And then explode it so fast on the cut that like nobody knows that it's not actually me.
No, we're gonna do a dummy, but we're gonna do like the worst editing ever. Dude.
You see it fly out with its arms flailing.
Dude, we're gonna show the dummy for like a good 3 seconds, and it's gonna be the worst like makeup job to try to make it look like you.
We should print a picture of my face and just paste it on the dummy face.
Just tape it. Just a single strip of Scotch tape with it to the point where it's actually like just waving in the wind. We'll just put a blow up doll in there with your face on.
Oh, good. Yeah. All right, we'll borrow your blow up doll.
You shut up. I don't have it. Get rid of that.
Oh. That one might have opened floodgates.
Oh,
Say it. We'll bleep it out.
no.
We'll bleep it out. If you gotta say it to live, you say it.
I can do it.
Good job.
Oh.
Yep.
I don't like that one even a little bit. Who is going to put that shit on anything?
It's not Frank's red hot sauce. That's for damn sure. Oh my God. That was.
Okay, ask the question.
Oh, I just swallowed it.
Yeah.
And it hit again.
Dumbass.
In the back of the throat. Oh, okay. Floodgates are open.
Here, I wanted to listen. I want people just do that. Just do this for me, people. Do this. Go to YouTube. If you don't know who I'm talking about, go to YouTube. Specifically, there's one specific thing. It's all amazing. Go watch "Take on Me" drum cover, and you're gonna see him. He's gonna be hitting both cymbals, and he's like leaning into the picture. That's the thumbnail. It's the song "Take on Me," and enjoy the whole thing. But really, it's that drum break. To this day, that drum break is the sickest thing in the world.
I'm curious to see how non-drummers respond to his videos.
See, there you go.
Like,
Like,
is his videos only cool to drummers, or is it cool to everyone?
I agree, dude. I think people who don't drum can watch him and they're like, this guy's amazing. And then drummers are like, this guy's a god. You know what I mean? Like there's like, you have to understand it and to understand. Think of this. There's a lot of people who are not drummers. They're not even listening to his feet. Like they don't even hear his feet. Yeah. You know what I mean? What his feet are doing are like ridiculous. They're only looking at the hands and stuff, which is why one thing I do wish you would do, Estepario. I've really convinced myself he's watching us. One thing I do wish he would do is I know
this isn't a podcast. This is just a video made for him.
I do wish he would put more cameras on his feet because I feel like he's not doing them justice. He's doing them justice to drummers.
He's not going to give that away for free.
What do you mean?
Feet pick? like you can make good money on the internet with feet picks. You think he's going to give that away for free?
Yeah. So I sit down, he shapes my arm, he does this whole thing. I've never had a tattoo, you know, and he goes, and he puts a stencil on my arm, you know, and he goes, "This is your first tattoo?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You're going big." I said, "I am." I said, I'm pumped. You know what I mean? And I feel like I made the exact right decision. And he starts doing it. Now it's a tattoo. It's going to hurt. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, I don't know what to expect here. And he starts going, and up here, the skin is really sensitive up here.
Yeah.
I was like, it really, really, really hurt. And I was just like, okay, I mean, it's a needle going in over and over again. Zzz, I know it's going to hurt. But it feels like I'm being cut open with a knife right now. And I just I don't want to twitch. And it was so funny when he started, he goes, "Okay, man, you ready?" I said, "Yeah." And he's all, "You got a tattoo now." Like, you know what I mean? It was just a line.
It was the first couple pixels.
Yeah. So it took 2 hours and I watched the whole movie while he did it.
Wow.
And then he does the shading, and the shading, that tool, it's actually 5 needles at once, 4 or 5 at once. And he's just like, vrr, vrr, vrr. When we're about 45 minutes into this thing, and he goes, "Dude, is there any blood in your body?" And he was just like, "You're not bleeding at all." And he couldn't figure it out. He goes, it's tripping me out. I'm usually dealing with blood everywhere.
Yeah.
He goes, "You're not bleeding at all." And by the end of it, there was like a little bit of blood, but it was like none. And then he wraps it up, and I feel good. You know what I mean? I was pumped. I was super happy. And then my wife got a tattoo. She got herself an ambigram as well. She's a teacher and she's a coach. So on her wrist says "teach." You flip it, says "coach," which is really, really cool. And he did hers too. It's really neat. And then 2 days later, I had to go into work. I never have to go in the factory. You know what I mean? But every once in a while, something calls for it, and I've got to go in. And so I have to put on that big old hazmat suit, and I'm like, dang it. And so I'm in there, dude, and I peel up the hazmat suit, and I kind of look in the sleeve. There's ink and blood all over the inside of the suit. I'm all, oh, come on. So I was actually a little worried that I was messing the tattoo up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was I had this moment. I had this crazy moment. It's so ridiculous it's overly eccentric what I'm saying. But I had this moment and I'm like, yeah, the job that's stealing my soul is ruining my tattoo that says "Live to Create." That's That's a beautiful irony.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And that was like this really, it was a really interesting moment where I was just like, it's like the universe is saying, just go, man, just make the jump. You know what I mean? But I'm like, but I can't. But I was like, but it was just, but I don't think I messed it up.
Being on Hermitcraft, it's every once in a while we're just like, oh, Mamo's not here this week. He's off on a film shoot in Costa Rica. like he gets called away for these jobs, and it's like it's easy to forget that you're so much more than just your Minecraft YouTube channel. So tell us a little bit more about like what you have on your second channel when it comes to some of the projects you've been doing, in case people aren't aware.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess I will preface the second channel with being that was always almost like I don't want to use the term creative junkyard, but that's kind of the term that comes to mind for me, where it was truly a place for me to just upload experiments and just get them done. Because as I'm sure you understand, you've all worked on creative projects. Sometimes it's so hard to finish something. And if you don't have somewhere to deliver the finished thing, you will endlessly be working on it.
Yep.
And then you can get a little bit nihilistic about it as well if it's not actually going somewhere. So that platform always existed as a place for me to share my passion projects. And then also, almost in a similar way to how I learned Redstone, I was sharing the process of me learning filmmaking for anyone that's curious. Because just like how I was inspired by the DIY-ness of the BMXing videos that I saw when I was 12 years old, there might be people who have never been inspired by large Hollywood films before, but maybe see something that I'm making that is small and actually seems attainable. And I might be able to provide them with a little bit of information about actually like what the thought processes are, what one has to go through to create a shoot like this. And I thought that information might be valuable to some people, so I would just share that whenever I had an opportunity and spare time to do it. So yeah, that channel exists right now. I think I haven't uploaded anything for a little while, but I'll always just, if I have an idea or something that comes to mind that is a passion project, I'll always throw it up there, and then generally try my best to break down how we shot it, just so people get a good idea of how it came about, basically.
And we did it, like stepped outside our comfort zone, got over, maybe it was the drinks, but we got over like what people would think if they,
and we had fun.
Yeah. And we had fun. And then and we kept pushing a little bit. Well, I did anyway. Do you remember we did karaoke?
Yeah.
And I actually got up on stage.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything. And this is not like me at all to get up on stage and do karaoke. No way. I'm not even, I don't sing, which is why I chose a rap. But I decided, it's time to like I said, maybe it was partly because of the drinks, but we were on a cruise ship and I knew I'm never going to see these. Like, I don't need to worry about what these people think because I'm never going to see them again. You know what I mean? Like there's a good chance will never see a single face in here ever again.
Yes.
So if I make a fool of myself, who cares?
Who cares?
And I was finally able to drop that baggage. And I didn't tell you guys, and I went and I signed up to do a karaoke song, and I got up on stage, and you guys were just like, what?
I loved it.
What is he doing? And I got up there, and I was just like, in West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground is where I spent most of my days. And I just like went off on the
opening theme song.
Yeah, the theme song to Fresh Prince of
Bel-Air,
which, I knew well enough because I watched that show like crazy. So I knew well enough. I didn't even have to like read the little teleprompter thing, but I did it. I mean, I got up there, and it was probably not the best performance in the world because I'm not like a trained rapper or anything, but I got over that in that moment, and it was freeing. It was so nice. And so then I come back and I'm like, okay, so why can't I just be that way always?
Yeah.
What is stopping me from just being more outgoing? And it's like, how much of my real self do I hide from everybody?
Yeah.
Does my wife, after 25 years, know the real me? No, 20 years. 20 years? Know the real me?
The reason your take is unsettling with me is because if you have the capacity to care about what the terrible things they're saying, how are you ignoring the hundreds of thousands of overwhelmingly positive things?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I want everybody to know out there, I do read a lot of the nice things that you say. I really, really do. And I don't want you to think that it means nothing to me. That's not the case. But it just doesn't like it doesn't swell me up. I will admit I've had to use it when that one negative comment sneaks its way through, that because it's right in line with the doubt I already have and it tears me down. Then I go to all the wonderful things that a lot of these people say
and try to balance it out a little bit.
It's a bottomless sea of positive stuff, and they build me up like this.
Yeah.
But for the most part, when I'm already neutral, it's a very nice thing to see these things. But it's nice because it's sort of reassuring. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. These people are having good feelings. They were loud. They couldn't stop laughing at this scene that I was very deliberate in how I directed this scene, you know, and I really wanted to be this certain way. Like, so there's just, I don't know. I want to just keep getting better and better. And I want my list of the people who I care about what they think about me to remain small. And that's just, I think that's my opinion, that's the healthiest way to live.
Yeah, I agree. That's why we wanted to talk about it today.
Yeah.
Because I think that a lot of people listening will probably be more like me, to where they care too much. And it's good to hear. It's good to get advice from somebody that has gotten to where you are. And because I think it is a much healthier way to live. I did have one. I got to take a moment to brag.
You want to set it up?
Can I?
You
Yeah,
can
I'll set it up. I'll
You can set it up. I want to hear what it's like
Is
from
it
an
Terra
audience.
Swoop is the name?
Yeah, so there is an event called To Get to the Other Side. Basically, the idea of the event is it's a race. It's a race across a map of some sort.
Yeah.
Right, where you're either racing across terrain and you got to like place blocks to climb, or like you're above a void and you can punch people off. Like people punch each other, which is rude, but they do it. And then there was one which a lytra base, which is like flying with wings.
And it is
like it's like a hang glider basically.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing kind of angles downward, and it's a map that was taken from a game called Terra Swoop Force that they actually include in the event.
Yeah, and I know that you work on these, and you and I did MCCI, like, which is just like a little fun version
Training
of this.
ground for
Yeah,
MCC
training.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember like I did the Terra Swoop one, and I did okay. I finished it. I didn't crash or whatever, so I did arguably okay. But in terms of my time, it was like you would have been like almost dead last. You know, like I did okay, but it was just like not a quick time. Well, you guys going the way it was working in regards to what Tango and I could see was that really we were watching the big monitor up high mainly the whole time, because whoever's POV that they went to onto that monitor, you could see the chat in regards to who was finishing, who wasn't. So we're looking for your name and Jem's name and Scar's name and Cub's name. We're looking for all these as so-and-so finished or so-and-so died or whatever. And it's going on, and it's about halfway through, and typically around halfway through any of the competitions is when we would start to see your guys' names appear. And it's going on and on. I don't remember the exact places, but it was like going on and on. Now it's like there's 40 people, and it was like it's somewhere around like 32 or 33. Like we saw Jem's name, and then 34 we saw Scar's name, and now we're waiting for your name. And I'm like, this isn't right. And we're watching, and Tango's all, oh, he must have crashed. He did not do well. And I said, no, this means he did really well. And he's like, you think so? And it goes 38, 39, 40, and you weren't named. And then they replayed who actually won. And you see, you got. Now I'm giving it away. So, I'm so sorry. I just liked it so much. You tell your version of it. I'm so sorry. I got carried away there. I guess I like that moment.
Yeah. So I did finish early on. It's crazy because when you're first like diving off this platform to start your hang glide basically down this tunnel, there's bodies everywhere. There's 40 of us.
You can't see.
Yeah, there's 40 of us. So you're literally blind for like the first couple seconds. And so I had to kind of go off of muscle memory just to get through that first part, knowing that at that point I could probably get some separation and be able to see, and then I'd be okay. So yeah, luckily it's something I practiced. I did like maybe 3 practice runs the day before we left for TwitchCon, knowing that event was going to come up. And so during those 3 practice runs, my main thought was, how do I separate myself in the beginning so that I don't have that blindness from all the bodies and crash? Because that's what most people do.
Yeah.
And so I figured that out. I'm like, okay, just remember this, like close my eyes, kind of muscle memory. And then once I'm past that, I can be able to see the rest of the course, and then I can have a chance. I did that. However, it cost me, because when I separated, you're now not taking the most direct route. Right. So I separated to the right, and that got my visibility back. But at that point, I was like in 10th place. I was like, okay, no big deal. I'll try to catch up with speed. And so hang gliding, think about it. You point down, you're going to get speed. So I pointed down, and I basically tried to stay as low to the bottom of the map as possible, which is very risky because if your toes touch, you
done.
explode
You're
and you have to go
done.
back to the beginning.
Yeah.
So I was like, no risk it, no biscuit. We're here for fun. You know, whatever. Let's just go for it. So I angled down best I could and was like barely scraping the bottom without actually blowing up. Next thing you know, I'm passing people one by one, passing people. And now I can actually see the finish line and there's like 2 people in front of me. And I was like, okay. And I know I'm cooking. I'm like, there's a chance here, you know? And I pass one more person and right at the finish line, like almost like the last person in front of me landed, must have been a millisecond or 2 before me.
Yes.
And it was like, it was super close to the point to where you actually could see when they showed the winner's point of view. I was in the winner's point of view camera because I was literally with them.
Yes. And the landing was like this.
Yeah.
Like it was that. And I was like, ah.
So I took second place and I'll take it, man.
Yeah.
I'll take it because that was super fun. Unfortunately, at that point, I was so excited about it. A couple things happened. One, I screamed really loud, right? I strained my voice, which is still recovering to this day. I'm not quite 100%. And 2, I about broke H-Bomb's hand because I did a fist bump so hard that it hurt him. Like I was so just adrenaline was pumping and he reached over to give me a fist bump and I was like, yeah. And I hit him and he's like, ooh. So I almost broke my teammate's hand in the middle of the event.
What is it that sparked your interest? And was it Minecraft the whole time or were you doing other stuff?
No, it wasn't just Minecraft. Well, first of all, we have to take into the context that I was 14.
Oh my
So
goodness.
Wow. Started very young.
I didn't have, you know, it's not like I was working some job or going to college or had my life figured out anyway. Like I was just in the stage where you're 14 and you don't have that much else to do. Like you can't even work legally a normal job yet at that age. So you're just, you know, I was watching YouTube and I would watch a lot of vloggers. And after a little while, I think in that same year, I would watch Minecraft YouTubers because my friend in that school year when I was like 14, 15, we would play Minecraft on our phones, Pocket Edition, recess in the hallways. And that was like the best thing ever. And so I would start watching YouTube videos of people playing Minecraft and I would find like Etho and B-Dubs and Doc and these Minecraft. I don't even think Hermitcraft was a thing. It was like super long time ago. And I'd watch them making videos. And at the same time, I'd also be watching a few vloggers from back in the day, like Shaytards, I think I watched a lot of. And I was like, I could do that. Like I have this thing where if I see somebody doing something, I just have I could do that. Like I could do that. Like, and that pretty much applies to most things. I don't think I could do it well, but if I see someone doing something and I'm interested in, I'm like, I can do that. That doesn't look that hard. Like I could probably figure that out. And I've had that for a while. So I saw
Don't ever lose
I saw
that.
B-Dubs doing it and I was like, I could do that.
Yeah.
So I used my laptop and I got my dad to buy Fraps, which
the recording software.
Oh,
God,
Fraps.
that- my dad is a patient man because I made him buy me Fraps, which was paid when OBS is free. So I don't know why I did that. But yeah, I started recording and editing and my videos were horrible, but it worked out.
And here we are now. Here we are putting our passion to work. Years in the making, right? I mean, you said it. We said we wanted to make a podcast like, what, 7 years ago? Something like that?
So long ago.
It took us this long to put it together, but here we are now. Like we have followed the fate, if you will, because I don't know what else you would call it. All these butterfly effects have led us here. You know what I mean? And here we are sitting here making podcasts, making content, and hopefully making the world a better place.
Hopefully.
That's the goal. You know,
Well,
whether it's through laughs or knowledge or whatever.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we always, like, sometimes there's little nuggets of wisdom, but for the most part, this podcast was designed to just be fun and be entertaining. I mean, listen to the jingle, right? But every once in a while, we get a little bit deeper with it. And then the question becomes, what if we never made the What's Stopping You podcast? The amount of feedback we've gotten specifically from that installment. What if we had never made that one? How many people, I'm so overwhelmingly honored by how many people have talked about the changes that they made in their life because of that particular podcast. What if when we were throwing out ideas, in fact, I'm pretty sure that one was your idea. I'm pretty sure that specific one, because we kind of, what if we do this or that? I'm pretty sure that one was was your idea. Because if memory serves, you're like, what if we do a podcast that's about like what's stopping you? And I said, from what? And you said, just like, people have passions and, really what's stopping them. And I remember thinking like, that
It's
could be
probably
good.
because I knew I needed to get my butt back in the gym, and I was struggling
Yeah.
to get the motivation, and I almost needed it more for myself at the time was probably it. But that was a long
works.
time ago. But take that a step further. Is there a chance that we aren't continuing the podcast today because we didn't get that kind of feedback that we were making a difference in people's lives, and therefore we didn't think our podcast was worth doing?
Right.
Because to peel back the curtains, like monetarily, this podcast isn't like a huge moneymaker for us. This is a passion project.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get together and we spend a day together, every other week focusing on this podcast, because our driving factor is because we want to bring good to the world. You know what I mean? And so far we've gotten feedback that it's happening. And it's an amazing feeling. It's a very humbling feeling. But is there a chance that without that feedback, you and I hung up our microphones a while ago?
Possible.
It's
possible. It's still possible. Like we have to be honest about that. It's still possible. So I agree with you. Like, what if we had not done that one, and what if we had not gotten that positive feedback that came? Maybe we would have hung this up a while ago.
Crazy.
Who knows?
Crazy
Hopefully
to
we
think.
don't.
Then they would have missed out on so many good podcasts, especially. Been digging. It's been a while since we've had a guest, but we will be bringing back some guests, and those are some of my favorite podcasts.
Yeah,
honestly, is because I love getting to know people. Like how many people do you work with? In your day job that you just know them because of what they do. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what they do. You don't know who they actually are. And it's kind of the same way with a lot of the creators that we've had on the podcast is I know what they do.
Yeah.
I've collabed with them. I've recorded clips with them and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, they, and we have meetings and whatever. But you never get to know them as people. You know them from like their work environment. And when we have guests on, I feel like that's our chance to finally get to know what makes Scar tick, what makes Gem tick, what makes Azuma tick. Like Azuma was a big one. Like for me, when Azuma was on the show, I was like, dude, I thought I knew you.
Yeah, it was so fascinating, wasn't it?
But I didn't know you.
Yeah.
Like you are amazing. Like I knew he was amazing, but you are amazing. You know what I mean? Like. And Tango and everyone we've had on have been absolutely
It's been
lovely.
amazing. It's been outstanding.
And I'm looking forward to having more. So I'm glad everything has gone the way it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I will continue to feel that way, I think, no matter what. But it's just crazy to think how fragile almost our timeline is.
So those were some fun moments, right? Looking back at all this, it's all those were like these gems, like I said, that I just sort of forgot about.
Dude,
just,
so many of them.
Yeah.
So many moments. Like, I wish I could do a word count of how many words we've said through those 51 podcasts, Like, that's insane.
I do the most of the editing, and I can tell you right now, I spent a lot of time editing saying, Skizz, why don't you shut up and let him talk a little bit? So if we did a word count, I don't think I want to see those numbers.
It was interesting, man, because I put together the clips that everybody just saw, and it was fun to see. One, my hairstyle seemed to change every week. That was fun to see. Like, and I'm sure people were seeing that too. And also, we changed sets like 3 or 4 times, I think. Like at one point, we were sitting here.
That's a you thing.
Yeah, that is a me thing. I always want to change things. But we were sitting here, but this couch didn't exist yet.
Yeah.
In early on in 2023, like that's how much has happened.
Yep.
Actually, our first episode we were in the other room, and then our last episode we were back in the other room, and now we're here.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy.
We're all over the place,
and we're probably going to keep on moving. We're going to be on the roof pretty soon.
Well, it's in the title. It's in the jingle. There's no telling where we'll go. Like physically, literally, you won't know where we're going to be recording the next podcast from.
Sometimes I hate you. You never know.
Yeah.
Don't. So we, taking a peek at that last clip, really kind of leaning into the whole what if thing, and it plays, right? Like, what if we did not have the support and and the feedback that we got from you guys who not only kind of lift me up and lift you up, but took the time to send us your favorite clips and everything. What if that was not a thing? Do we have the centering to do it? Do we have the centering to get it done? Right. And it would seem like all I can do is say, I hope so. But what I'm getting at is that, like, I really see you and I as 50% of this product, and I see these people as the other half of this product. So stay with us. Let's get into another great year. Welcome to 2024, and Happy New Year to you and you, my friend.
Yeah, you too,
and,
man. You
let's
too.
keep going.
Yeah, let's try to do it again. You know, I mean, stuff could happen. We may miss a week, but hopefully not. Like, we were able to pull it off this last year. That was the goal, and we did it.
We did.
Every single Friday there was a podcast for you guys, and hopefully you guys will get the same thing throughout all of 2024. We'll make it all 52 weeks once again. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see what topics we come up with. Guests already have some great guests lined up for you guys that I'm so excited about. The next podcast is going to be an amazing one. I guarantee it.
You'll love it.
So lots to look forward to in 2024, not just on the podcast, but in life in general, if we want to get deep here. So I'm excited about the new year. And man, I just can't wait. I can't wait to get started.
So let's do it. So Happy New Year, and let's get into 2024 and let's have some fun.
Happy New Year, everyone.